Yeah, yeah. Unashamed, unafraid. I'm trying to walk the walk. Truth on the mic, no shame here, just real talk. Came from the outside, never fit in. Now we tell the story and the healing begins. No front, no mask, just telling the truth. Keep it real, keep it raw, speaking straight from the booth. If you feeling like an outsider, this one's for you. Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Unashamed, Unafraid. We are unashamed of sexual addiction recovery and unafraid of coming unto Christ for healing. Chris, just you and I today, man. How are you?
We're the only ones left in the studio.
It is 11:25 p.m., so we'll see if we can finish this guy before 12 o'clock. So, interesting topic today. It's kind of an opportunity for me to step into my own recovery. I had an experience. It was about a month ago. It was actually right before the last recording. I was editing some things, and I had to go on to Apple Podcasts. I needed to update something that I had posted incorrectly. And as I was going through, I scrolled down past a couple of our reviews. And one caught my eye because it said my name in it. And this review was super negative and totally attacked my character. I'm pretty careful not to go looking at comments or reviews because I just don't care to know if there's some troll out there on the internet that's going to say something insensitive. So I'm kind of frustrated I stumbled upon it. But as I scrolled past, I stopped, and this is what I read. Poser, 2 stars. I've been around Sam, both in private settings and public, and poser is a kind word. He acts one way when he believes people are watching him, and totally acts another in private. So which one is the real Sam? In private, I've witnessed him be rude, demeaning, and condescending. Reminds me of the original host, which is referring to Steven. And so, dude, I read that, and it just hurt.
I can see why.
I just felt super unseen. I knew it wasn't true, but old shame scripts totally got kicked up. I was so worried, like, dude, people are going to see that, and they're going to know I'm a fraud. That's shame creeping in. I wish I could say I was the guy that was just like, yep, the water just went right off my back. Totally not true. And sure, I didn't isolate, but even after several conversations with my brothers, it was still so much. I ended up relapsing like 2 days later.
Yes, you're like, oh my gosh.
Totally.
This is another reason why I'm worthless.
Right. And my mind started going back through who could this have been and what was it that happened? And I could think of 2 or 3 times where I had a bad moment and I said something that was insensitive, but to be mischaracterized that way, especially because I'm very open about the fact that I am a guy in recovery. And there's for sure moments that I've hurt people, but I'd like to be known as someone who does make mistakes, but who always tries to make repair. So I want to talk about repair today.
Totally.
So this person's username was Motocross Mick. So Motocross Mick, whoever this is out there, is probably dealing with some deep hurt they need repair for. There's some judgment I passed or a conversation I had or accusation that I leveled, I'm still unsure, that probably really, really hurt. And for that, Motocross Mick, I apologize. In fact, open invitation, if you're out there listening to this, come on the podcast. Let's have a conversation about it. That'd be the most real thing I can imagine. I think it'd be a really powerful opportunity for us to settle our differences, for us to show people what it really looks like to live unashamed. It's going to be heavy and it's going to be hard, totally. But it would be powerful and it'd be healing for the people listening. It would be powerful and healing for us. So that's my invitation to you, Motocross Mick. I'd love to have that conversation. On my part, it's kind of a difficult situation because it really did hurt my feelings, but there's no one I can point to. And so it's kind of this ambiguous pain that I can't quite put it in a file cabinet in my brain or in my heart. And that's what I've been struggling with. So this is how I've dealt with it. Well, first of all, I relapsed, right? So that was my first novice attempt at trying to deal with the pain of that.
Yeah.
And then, well, actually my first attempt was I'm going to connect with brothers, right? But I eventually chose to just numb out because it carried on more than 24 or 48 hours and I just felt like crap.
And a little test, did that take away the pain?
No. I had to continue opening up about it and co-regulating where it was too much for rather than isolating.
Totally.
I reached a point about probably a week after I had seen it initially where I just felt like, I'm okay. And I started to be able to see it for what it was that this person just needed repair from me, and probably from Steve as well. But this is what healing is all about, right?
There's a couple of things that we look at with making repair with those that we have hurt
Yeah.
because of our addiction, but man, we got to make repair with our own hearts. For the longest time, no idea and didn't know my heart is just bleeding everywhere. I needed to make repair with myself because I needed to forgive myself for everything that I'd done. The way I was showing up toward my wife and how I was treating her and just blaming her for everything and the resentment that I had, and totally make some repair with Autumn
Right.
in that too, because that's why I chose to do affairs. Nope, this is Autumn's fault. Even for a couple of years after I had sobriety, I still blamed Autumn. It was her fault.
Wow.
And then a couple of years into deep recovery, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, so that wasn't her fault. I need to make some repair right there.
Yeah.
And just apologize. Just deep understanding of accountability on my part.
Yeah.
For how I was showing up and how I blamed her, the way I saw her, and how I just, the only thing I could focus on was on the negative stuff.
Totally.
I went through all of it with her and just apologized to her.
Honestly, Chris, there's some things I haven't forgiven myself for. I thought I had until I read that message. And something like that's always probably going to hurt.
Totally.
If the name Sam was swapped out for Chris in that one, like, there'd be some pain there.
Totally.
But what added to the pain, or what made it so intense, what made it feel like something that I just couldn't get past, I couldn't regulate myself, was I still feel frustrated for not fully stepping into the message that I preached from the pulpit, per se, right? And so shame is going to come and do an all or nothing on me.
Accepting those agreements again, you're like,
Totally. Because then suddenly shame is like, nah, dude, you're so full of it. It's crazy that you would come on this podcast when you're so broken.
what gives you the right?
Yeah, exactly. What gives you the right? And so that's what's been hard for me. I had a really hard time when Steve suggested at first. He's like, dude, you should do a podcast episode on this. I was like, no. We are not talking about that on the podcast. And he's like, that's exactly why you should. But I want to just be able to move on. To your point, it's hard to live in the pain of the blame you put on other people. It doesn't just affect them. It keeps you stuck.
All it does is it hurts you.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like whatever resentment they've got going on, if they've got that resentment towards you, all it's doing is hurting them.
And we're both suffering silently in it. I think this was from one of my old 12-step manuals. It said, refusing to forgive is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Right? I don't want to drink the poison anymore. It's like what Steve always says, I totally drink the Kool-Aid, right? Like, I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid on this one. I did for a couple days. And I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid, right? So Motocross Mick, wherever you are out there, I forgive you. And whatever it was that I said, did, whatever lines I crossed, I hope you know that I'd love to have a conversation with you at some point, because you deserve repair.
Totally.
And we both deserve to heal.
Love that, man. Many people out there just don't know what repair may even look like.
Yeah.
So the episode we had on, I can't remember the number, but Becky was the one that did it. And she did the whole thing. It was all about making repair for the betrayed spouse. And man, when I meet with some of my clients, I'm like, you both need to listen to this.
Yeah.
Becky just nails like what repair is. One of the biggest things that stood out for me is go to them and say, hey, what does repair look like for you? So we may try to repair doing all these things, and it's actually not making repair. Maybe it's making things worse.
Totally.
Thinking that we're making repair, but we're going to it in defensiveness or whatever that is. Going to that person that you need to make repair with and being like, hey, I know I've hurt you. what does repair look like? I know I can't make everything right, but I would love to see what repair looks like.
Right.
It takes a lot of vulnerability just to be in that place to be like, what does it look like for me to make repair?
Yeah.
I had my sister-in-law living with us when I was having affairs. I was doing all these things, middle of my addiction. And she and I were driving home one time from an event. My wife ended up leaving early with our kids. And so just me and her sister, which it was really weird because I've never ridden ever in a car with her alone. Never like that. It was just weird.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're driving, God is like, this is your chance to make repair. And, you know, I looked at her and I said, Aubrey, I just want to apologize for the way that I've been in my marriage with your sister. But I also want to apologize because if I ever made you feel uncomfortable in my home, I'm really sorry. It was not okay. That's not me anymore. And I just want you to know, like, you mean the world to me, and I'm really sorry for how I treated you and if I really made you feel uncomfortable. And she goes, actually, you never did. And I appreciate what you said. She's like, you don't owe me anything, but I really appreciate what you just said.
Probably built a ton of trust with her too.
And that's the thing too. That's hard about repair too, is like, you can still make repair for certain things, right? But when there's still like constant acting out, it's really hard for that repair to feel real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man. You just hit some chords with me there. You saw my eyes go really wide.
Totally.
Well, yeah, because I had that conversation the other day with my wife, and I said pretty close to what you just suggested, like, what does repair look like to you? You taught me that phrase. I love that phrase. But it was clear to me in that moment, even in my penitence, even in my humility, even in my willingness, she didn't feel like we could make full amends because she was anticipating the next relapse.
It's hard to ask her to heal over and over.
I know. It's like,
You know what I'm saying?
it's like, hey, there's a good likelihood I'm going to rip this wound open again, but what do you need until then?
That hurts my heart thinking about that because I know Autumn.
You probably saw that same look in Autumn's eyes once.
Oh, yeah. Over and over again.
So I'm like, look, I know these things take time, but I understand full repair looks like full recovery. That's what it looks like.
As you were talking, I was like, this is totally where we need to go.
Yeah.
Because that's where the action meet the words.
Right. And that's what was so bothersome about reading this review. I can say I'm not the person that they depicted me to be, but I haven't fully changed yet. And at the end of the day, sin is just damaging. And Jesus is the only one that can wipe that out. And it takes time.
The best way to make full repair is to find sobriety.
Yeah.
To live your words,
Yeah.
right? Live inside your values, inside your value system. That's why we call it acting outside of your value system.
Totally.
And I think that's where like the deep healing can come from.
Well, my own personal commitment to you and to the audience listening is I've actually identified, as we've been talking, Chris, that, and I thought I was done. I've thought through it from every single angle possible. Is there anyone else I need to make amends with? But I just had a name pop up into my head. I totally need to make amends with my sister-in-law. So that's the first thing I want to commit to doing is, and there may be one or two more names after that as God reveals those to me. But I want to go make amends with my sister-in-law because I'm realizing there's some things I've done in my addiction that have hurt her. The second thing is I want to get to the point where I can express my needs, my anger, my frustration, without getting to the point where I become disrespectful to people. That's a goal I have. I want to take that seriously in my life and make that. And that's going to start in my relationship with my wife because we have so many opportunities to practice that in marriage. So those are my two commitments coming away from this conversation. That's what it looks like to have a change of heart in my repair, lasting repair, full repair. And hopefully whoever posted this comment will come on the show at some point.
I know too, there's people in my recovery that I've heard can never make repair to. My affair partners, I'm not going back to those people, like all of them. I don't have the opportunity to go back and make repair to them. I would love to, Like I pray that God give me the opportunity whenever it's right for them. And if that's something that needs to happen where I need to make that repair in person, I figure God will just make it happen.
Right.
The only way that I can do that is by the way that I live my life, right? In full recovery. And that's why I want to help so many other people, because it's a way for me to give back. It's a way for me to make repair ways that I can.
Sam, Chris at unashamedunafraid.com. Shoot us an email. Who do you need to make repair to in your life right now? What does that look like? That's a huge piece of recovery, forgiveness, and repentance. And on both ends, really what recovery is about healing relationships. And as they begin to heal, as we develop safe community, as we learn how to meet our needs and ask for repair and develop boundaries, that's when true recovery happens. As they say in 12 Steps, the opposite of addiction is connection. Thanks for watching. Find us on social media at Unashamed Unafraid. Get access to our bonus content and become an outsider on unashamedunafraid.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if this was helpful to you, it'll probably be helpful to someone else. So take some time right now and share it with a friend. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, continue to live unashamed.